Well, the City of London is arguably the world's oldest cooperative. The city is the governing body for what we call the square mile. And the Italian connections are very, very deep. And in fact, our boundary is pretty much the boundary of the old Roman wall. Well, the first thing I'd suggest is that you actually go to Lombard Street. As you go up Lombard Street, I would suggest hitting the Mithraeum, which is just across the road, which is an ancient temple of Mithras. You then go to the Guildhall and see the Roman Colosseum that's under it. That you go to the Bank of England Museum, so you see our shared roots in banking, and that you end with a coffee at the Grand Royal Exchange. Why London's very much the world's coffee houses. Many of our great institutions grew out of coffee houses. It's well known that Lloyd's of London came from Lloyd's Coffee House. So the coffee house, I think, is a powerful metaphor. So for me, the world needs a coffee house to exchange ideas, particularly about the big problems we face. And I focus on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And what we are responsible for is not just our square mile, but also ensuring that our economy is thriving here. We have approximately 615,000 workers who come in every day. We generate just around 10% of British GDP. Politically, what makes that possible is that we are non-political. We have no political parties in the city, and that our workers also get the vote. And we pride ourselves on being very open to all comers. And you can see more signs of Italy in the fact that the richest street in town is named Lombard Street. And here we are sitting in the Mansion House in my office. The actual name of this room is the Venetian Parlor. The role of Lord Mayor began in 1189. So as I said, we began in the 7th century with 2 sheriffs. A little while later, we added what's called the Court of Aldermen, and these are the 25 aldermen who represent the 25 wards. But sometime in the 11th century, we created something called the Court of Common Council, and all of this was what became Parliament. But it became apparent that you couldn't have 25 people wandering around all the time. So the aldermen elect from their ranks one alderman to be Lord Mayor. So I am the 695th Lord Mayor of the City of London. My job is really kind of threefold. One is I'm here to promote the financial and professional services of the nation. Secondly, about community. The city is a very old place with many institutions that have been working together for centuries. On the commerce side is that the Lord Mayor travels for 100 days out of the 365 that I'm Lord Mayor. I want to increase the amount of connections that London has with all sorts of communities around the world. So on my travels, I'm trying to build those connections. And I'll be visiting about 25 countries. This particular year, given my origins, which is Italian American, but also Irish, we'll also be visiting Italy, definitely, France, Germany, the Netherlands, and Switzerland. I got an invitation from Mayor Bucci, Marco Bucci, to come and visit. And in fact, he came to my Lord Mayor's show. We have this enormous parade, and we had a number of cities in the show, and Genoa came and had pride of place amongst the foreign cities. The first recorded dealings that we can find with Genoa are 1190, the first year of Henry Fitzaylwin, the very first Lord Mayor, his term in office. We both share the St. George flag as a symbol. We're hoping to have a Paganini festival using Il Canone from Genoa here in London, possibly in October. But I do think they're practical things. We're making links with the Science and Engineering and Technology Institutes. The maritime sector is cooperating on maritime weeks together. When I was young, I always wanted to be a scientist. I was a bit of a space kid. My father moved us from Italy to America so he could be in the aerospace program. And then he became project manager for the Apollo capsule. I started school in Italy, and it was just he had this wonderful job opportunity that brought him to America. With that kind of background, you love science, and obviously when I was looking for summer jobs, I wanted to do one in aerospace, and I got very lucky. I got a job at 16 working in the Martin Marietta. When I went to university at Harvard, I took another job as a full-time researcher as well, doing my undergraduate in what was called the Lab for Computer Graphics and Spatial Analysis. So that's my science career. And then suddenly, in '84, I came here, found out I didn't really understand finance, so I did a complete switch, trained up as an accountant. And then in the mid-90s, that switched again when the Ministry of Defense said, we want somebody who understands finance, but who's also a scientist. One of the things about science and the city is that the city is the home of science, because here we have got 40 learned societies, 70 institutions of higher education, and 130 research institutes. It's 10 weeks ago, I launched an ethical use of AI course. We are already over 2,000 students. We have over 200 organizations in it, including the Bank of Italy. Just a final thought on AI, when it comes to changes. I feel that we're going to be awash in information, but how do you teach people to enhance their critical faculty is a tough one.